Your skin is under attack right now, from the sun, from the pollution, and from the air itself. The culprit? Free radicals. These unstable molecules punch holes in your collagen, scramble your DNA, and accelerate every visible sign of aging. And your body is outnumbered. This is oxidative stress, and it's one of the biggest drivers of why skin ages the way it does. Today, we're breaking down exactly what's happening at the cellular level and what actually works to stop it. Oxidative stress is not the same thing as having free radicals. Your cells generate free radicals constantly as a byproduct of energy production, as immune signals, as part of normal metabolic chemistry. Moderate ROS levels are normal, necessary, and even beneficial. They function as signaling molecules. Oxidative stress occurs when that balance is disrupted, when ROS production exceeds the capacity of the antioxidant defense system to neutralize them. Think of it as a redox imbalance. The ratio of oxidized to reduced molecules in the cell shifts in a damaging direction. So what tips the balance? UV radiation delivers a sudden oxidative hit. Chronic inflammation generates sustained low-level ROS. Aging reduces antioxidant enzyme activity. Mitochondrial dysfunction produces more ROS as a byproduct. And here's the part that matters for aging. Each of these factors amplifies the others. Oxidative stress is not a single event, it's a compounding process. When a skin cell detects elevated ROS, it doesn't just sit there. It activates a cascade of protective responses, some of which are beneficial, and some of which, when chronically activated, accelerates aging. Let's take a closer look at the NRF2 pathway again. It's a protective response. NRF2 is a transcription factor that functions as a master regulator of antioxidant gene expression. Under normal conditions, NRF2 is kept inactive, bound to a protein called KEAP1. When ROS levels rise, KEAP1 releases NRF2. NRF2 enters the nucleus and activates the antioxidant response element, a stretch of DNA that drives expression of SOD, catalase, glutathione peroxidase, and dozens of other protective enzymes. NRF2 activation is fundamentally protective. It's why brief, moderate oxidative stress can actually strengthen the cell's antioxidant capacity. The hormesis principle. The problem is that our NRF2 pathway activity declines with age in skin, reducing this protective response precisely when it's most needed. ROS also activates two other major transcription factors, AP1 and NF-κB. AP1 upregulates matrix metalloproteinases, the collagen degrading enzymes we've discussed in earlier episodes. NF-κB drives the expression of pro-inflammatory cytokines like the IL-1 beta, IL-6, TNF-alpha. This is the molecular mechanism connecting of oxidative stress to both collagen degradation and skin inflammation. In the presence of acute resolved oxidative stress, this response is appropriate and adaptive. With chronic low-grade oxidative stress, which is what UV-exposed, aged skin experiences daily, AP1 and NF-κB are constitutively active. That means persistent low-level MMP activity and persistent low-level inflammation. So, this is the molecular foundation of photoaging. Here's where oxidative stress becomes self-perpetuating. Remember that mitochondria are the primary source of ROS in skin cells. Electron leakage during energy production generates superoxide. In young, healthy mitochondria, this leakage is small and well managed, but ROS damages mitochondrial DNA and mitochondrial membranes. Damaged mitochondria produce more ROS. More ROS causes more mitochondrial damage. So this is the mitochondrial ROS amplification loop. Mitochondrial DNA is particularly vulnerable because it lacks the histone protection that nuclear DNA has, and it sits adjacent to the electron transport chain where ROS are generated. The 4977 base pair deletion, a specific mitochondrial DNA deletion, accumulates with age and UV exposure in skin and is used as a biomarker of mitochondrial oxidative damage. As mitochondrial function declines, cells shift toward glycolysis, the Warburg effect, and produce less ATP. This energy deficit affects every cellular process. Collagen synthesis requires ATP, DNA repair requires ATP, antioxidant enzyme production requires ATP. Mitochondrial decline is not just an oxidative damage story, it's an energy failure story that compounds all other aging mechanisms. So, what should we do about this? 3 frameworks based on where in the pathway you're intervening. 1. Reduce oxidative input. SPF remains the highest leverage intervention. It prevents UV-generated ROS at the source. Broad-spectrum SPF 30+, used daily, reduces photoaging-associated oxidative damage more than any topical antioxidant combination. 2. Support antioxidant defenses. Topical L-ascorbic acid, vitamin E, and ferulic acid combinations have the strongest evidence for supplementing the skin's antioxidant capacity. NRF2 activating ingredients, sulforaphane, resveratrol, and EGCG work upstream by boosting the cell's own defense enzyme production rather than directly scavenging radicals. 3. Support mitochondrial function. This is a newer frontier. CoQ10 ubiquinone or ubiquinol is a component of the mitochondrial electron transport chain and a membrane-soluble antioxidant. Topical CoQ10 has modest evidence to reduce oxidative stress in keratinocytes. Oral CoQ10 100 to 300 milligrams per day has better mechanistic support. It supports mitochondrial electron transport efficiency, which reduces electron leakage and therefore ROS production at the source. NAD+ precursors like niacinamide, nicotinamide, riboside, NMN support mitochondrial function through a different mechanism. Replenishing NAD+, the cofactor that powers the enzymes of energy metabolism and DNA repair. The science is useful, but let's make it actionable. Here are the products with the most evidence behind them across every price point. For the topical, you have the vitamin C stack. The formula with the most clinical backing is the one from SkinCeuticals, CE Ferulic, with 15% L-ascorbic acid, 1% vitamin E, and 0.5% ferulic acid. Ferulic acid does 2 things. It stabilizes vitamin C, which is notoriously unstable in formulation, and it roughly doubles the photoprotective effect of the antioxidant combination. Peer-reviewed studies show it reduces oxidative damage markers by up to 41%. If you want the same core mechanism at a lower price point, Paula's Choice C15 Super Booster uses the same 15% L-ascorbic acid with vitamin E and ferulic acid. It doesn't have the same volume of independent clinical data, but the formula logic is sound. And at the drugstore end, Elf Skin, Bright Icon, vitamin C plus E plus ferulic serum. Formulation quality has genuinely improved in this category. So this is a reasonable entry point. Oral is working from the inside out. For mitochondrial support, life extension super ubiquinol CoQ10 uses the ubiquinol form, the reduced active form your cells actually use, with a delivery system designed to improve absorption. 100 milligrams daily is the evidence-supported dose for skin-relevant outcomes. Ubiquinol matters here because standard ubiquinone requires conversion, and that conversion becomes less efficient with age. For glutathione production upstream, NutriCast NAC N-acetylcysteine gives your cells the rate-limiting precursor to synthesize their own glutathione, the cell's master antioxidant. Rather than delivering antioxidant directly, you're restocking the factory. 600 milligrams daily is a standard starting dose. And for broad-spectrum antioxidant protection, double wood astaxanthin 12 mg is the most potent single-molecule free radical quencher in this category. In controlled trials, astaxanthin at this dose reduces MDA, a direct marker of oxidative damage, and increased antioxidant enzyme activity. Third-party tested, single ingredient, no filler. Oxidative stress is not a single event that happens to your skin. It's a chronic self-amplifying process that connects UV, inflammation, mitochondrial decline, and collagen degradation into a single unified mechanism. Understanding that mechanism is what separates intelligent skincare from guesswork. Next episode, we take oxidative stress into telomere biology, how ROS accelerates the shortening of telomeres and what that means for cellular senescence and visible aging. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!